You're back with The Nation in our panel. Tauhenere, Mike Williams and Paddy Gower joining us from Wellington. Mike, you're a former party president. Are they circling the wagons here? They're shutting down MPs and people close to the Labour Party don't talk, they're telling them.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right thing to do at this point. And also, I think there's probably some people in the caucus at least who have yet to make up their minds, and we don't know who's in for the leadership. So, you know, I think that's the right thing to do at the moment.
Oh, the first thing I thought when I saw
But it doesn't indicate you've got a problem, doesn't it?
No, it suggests to me that Chippy has taken control of the situation. Aktung, baby, you know, I'm going to tell you what to do. And you know, even though it sounds draconian, it's most probably the best thing, because you don't want a public scrap with 25 MPs.
Do you read anything into it, Paddy?
Yes, I do. I mean, Aktung baby was a good saying for it, because what Chris Hipkins has basically done is put the jackboots on, and let's not forget he is a card-carrying member of the ABC Club. If there's one thing Chris Hipkins wants to do, it's get rid of David Cunliffe. You know, he gave some nice sound bites in here, but he's a real Grant Robertson man. He's clamping down the discipline. He doesn't want to let the Labour Party breathe and talk or anything like that. What he wants is Grant Robertson to be elected leader, and he will use every trick in the book. And isn't it interesting? Chris Hipkins comes from the plotting Beltway school of the Labour Party, and this is what it's all about. Grant Robertson's plot. Chris Hipkins' role in the plot, 40-40-20. How do we win? How do we win? And at the same time, the New Zealand public is looking at the Labour Party and it's reaching for the off switch, because at the same time as they're talking all this stuff about needing to reach out, they are involved in the worst internecine warfare ever, and Chris Hipkins is right at the centre of it with bully boy tactics and standover tactics last night to stop MPs from coming on the show and talking about the future of Labour.
Well, given if it is this big behind-the-scenes battle, what is Cunliffe playing at, Mike?
Well, can I just disagree with Paddy?
You can disagree with Paddy.
It was good, though. It was very good and very convincing, but not true. I mean, internecine warfare is another word for democracy. We're not used to seeing internal democracy in political parties.
Democracy, Mike, in democracy there's something called free speech, okay?
Yeah,
there isn't censorship.
Yeah,
not in this game, mate, not in this game.
Yeah, look, I think it's a process that we've got to go through, the Labour Party's got to go through. I think it'll be a positive one, and I think there does need to be a debate about how you get to 24%, but I'd point something else out. This is a very unstable electorate. The National Party plumbed its depth at 20% of the vote in 2002. Labour got 24%. That means that sort of identifies their core vote. That means over 50% of the electorate is up for grabs in any general election, so anything can happen.
All right, I want to just have a look at a piece from David Cunliffe's stand-up yesterday when he announces he's resigning as the leader, and just listen to the words and a couple of the things he says there. Can we have a look at that clip?
Clearly there is much more to do, and the party's direction must be respected. There is no room for division or airing differences through the media despite agreement to the contrary. Consultation with colleagues, members and affiliates has affirmed that the whole party must participate in the choice and not just one part of it.
So, Paddy, there couldn't resist the temptation really to give a little bit of a twist of the knife. We told you all to be quiet, some of you hadn't. There were some veiled messages there, weren't there?
Yeah, sure, and look, we're only a few hours in and Grant Robertson has already taken a hit at the apology for being a man, which is probably one of David Cunliffe's real weak points. So, you know, while there's all this talk about sweetness and light, it's not happening. Grant Robertson took the opportunity today to have a jab right at that apology for being a man. And I'll tell you this, there's been a lot of talk about 24%, hasn't there? But another number that would be really worrying the Labour Party is that 5,000. Their membership, as revealed by that leak by David Cunliffe this week, or David Cunliffe's camp, of how many people voted last time, Labour is in dire straits. I would not rule out the possibility of MPs in the next few years leaving Labour, going over to New Zealand First. Imagine this, a New Zealand First led by Shane Jones, polling at around 20% in the polls. Labour going down in the polls under Grant Robertson, a couple of them leave. The Labour Party is nearly 100 years old, and here's a big picture question. is 100 years the lifespan of a party? Why does a party need to survive forever? Does Labor really need to go on forever?
I think we need to let Mike have a say on that. So, yeah, those party membership figures, around 5,000, was in the vote, as Paddy points out. Is it the dying days of Labor?
No, I don't think so. In fact, 5,000 voted. My understanding is there have been between 15,000 and 20,000 members at the moment, which is actually double what were the membership that when I was president and won 3 elections in a row. So, you know, that's an indication. And what I would say to Labor Party members, that there's an awful lot of Labor Party members who think they're members but aren't actually members, and if they want to participate in this ballot, they should have a look and bring their membership up to date. That this 100,000 members that Jim Anderton spoke of yesterday was a total fantasy. The membership was about 25,000 at its peak.
Jim Anderton was a fantasy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
I
Paddy?
think you have to say that 15 to 20,000 members is a total fantasy as well, because if there's only 5,000 that voted at the height of democracy in the Labor Party last time around, that's got to be close to the real number. There weren't 15,000 people who forgot to vote in the last leadership contest. Sorry, Mike. And the reality is this.
There's been so much. I'm not saying that, Paddy. I'm saying the membership has built since that time.
Yeah, it's built since then. Right? Yeah, maybe it has, and that would be great. And Will Peace is on its way as well. But I would say this. You know, there's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of talk about David Cunliffe, but what about Moira Coatsworth and Tim Barnett? The Labor Party is broke. Chris Hipkins has effectively admitted as much there. Why aren't there more calls for the resignation of Moira Coatsworth and Tim Barnett? Accountability goes a lot wider than just David Cunliffe.
Let's bring Toe in here. So do you think the accountability goes further up the food chain as well?
Oh, hell yeah. Look, this is not...
This is not
all David Cunliffe's fault. I mean, for goodness sake, he's the leader, so he's getting a lot of publicity and everybody's sort of pointing the finger to him. But at the end of the day, it's the whole organisation. You know, it's the union movement as well. They should take a slap as well. You know, they call themselves union organisers. Well, what did they organise? A cup of tea, and that's it.
Do you think he's done the party a disservice throwing his hat back into the ring?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I love democracy. I love people to step up and say, I think I'm the guy to lead the Labor Party. Look, it doesn't matter whether it's Labor or National. If you start picking on individuals and blaming them, your organisation is not going to get any better.
OK, last word to Mike Williams. Do they need to have a clean out in the ranks and renew?
Well, I think that's true. But if you look at the caucus, some of their best performers are actually the oldest members, people like Phil Goff and Annette King, and I'd be very loath to see them go. But there has been a degree of renewal. I think there's about 7 or 8 new MPs in that caucus this time round. And that's quite a good turnover for the Labor Party. It's about, what, a fifth to a quarter of the caucus. And I think it will renew, and a bad result means you don't win as many seats, so that makes it more difficult.
All right, thank you very much to our panel this morning, Paddy in Wellington, Toe Henare and Mike Williams. Now, let's take a quick look